If yes, this is good. We're waiting for Olivier as well to join us. I'm Nikos Morandis from Hotelier Academy. Some of you are Greek, some of you are from other countries. So we are at Hotelier Academy International today. Hello, Oliver. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you. Yourself?
Very well, very well. Welcome to Hotelier Academy live webinars. We are very happy that you are here today with us. It's very important that today we will speak for a very serious subject, hotel finance. When I met you and your solution, I was excited. And when I was thinking what to plan about our international webinars, you came at the top of the list to speak about hotel finance.
Thank you, very, very kind of you.
Introduce yourself to our audience at Zoom, and I will make the connection to Facebook and our social media, and then I will again welcome you publicly, because most of our audience is at social media. Of course, people on Zoom here, we can say hi, and you can write us your locations. So you can introduce yourself in the meantime.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Oliver. I'm from Fairmas. I'm Director Business Development, and I have hospitality background, as of course many of the participants today. So I was working in hospitality industry for about 15 years, and now I switched sides and working now for a software company, doing software solely for hospitality industry. So yeah, I enjoy that, having the know-how and the knowledge from hospitality industry, taking over to the new industry, but still be in touch with hospitality and with hotel people, because I like them a lot and I like the industry.
Very perfect. So where are you based, Oliver? Let's say.
No, our company is based in Berlin.
In Berlin, okay. Yeah. Nice, nice. Where many nice things are starting about tourism. So please give me 1 minute more to make the live from Facebook.
Okay.
Sorry, we have a little bit. We're waiting. Just a minute. You can actually. Okay, I have a small problem with the connection. Wait, no, we're here. Let me try again. So, live on Facebook. I need a few minutes because this is a time that there's a lot of traffic on social. So
I see. Totally understand.
Time.
That's also start of the weekend, and so.
Yeah, you know.
Everybody's happy to say leaving the office or leaving home office now.
So great. So now we are going live, and I will introduce you. Give me a few seconds. Perfect. So here now we are officially live on Facebook. Good afternoon from Hotelier Academy, Greece. I'm Nikos Morandis. And now we are speaking in English because we have an international audience to attend this webinar. The Greek hoteliers are used to attend our webinars the last 2 months. We have more than 60 webinars completed during the lockdown. So you can imagine that Greek hospitality industry will be different after these 2-3 months. A lot of studying, everybody. We had more than 6,000 people that are attending our meetings, our webinars. And today I'm happy to welcome Olivier from Fairmas to speak about some solutions for the financial part of the hotels. I will not tell more. I will give you, you can handle all the presentation. I will close my camera and my microphone, and you can start, Olivier, with your presentation. First, introducing yourself, of course.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm Oliver from Fairmas. I'm happy to be invited. Thanks for that. Thanks for the opportunity to speak to the Greek audience about hotel financial planning. And that, of course, is the topic for today. It's a little bit educational. It's not so much software. It's more about how to do stuff, how to be smart, how to save time in regards to that. And so, yeah, this is what I want to talk about today. I will now share my screen, and in a second, we should be able to start here. One moment.
We can see your screen, but we cannot see the presentation.
Yeah, it's still loading.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it should be there in a second. So
okay, perfect.
and there's a beautiful mountain here that you see right now, but that is what I want to talk about today.
What is that? It's Dolomites, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
no.
Also, it's like a Windows background. I did not shoot the photo myself. It's just for having me in a vacation mindset when doing work, and that's why I like to have.
So, Oliver, how are things now in Germany? Are the hotels open? Do you?
Well, open. They are. Yeah. Parts of that. What is a little bit different or difficult in Germany is that it is really different per country region. So in some regions hotels are open, and some region hotels are open and allowed to have 50% occupancy. Some of them are allowed 100% occupancy, and some they can open the restaurants and others not. So it's really a mess. It's really confusing right now. And I think industry is about to find out how they can streamline it, and also how the development in the next months or next weeks will be, so that everybody has the same rules all over the place, because guests don't understand the difference. And also for hotel companies having more than one hotel, it's really hard to deal with the different scenarios in each individual part of the country.
I see. Okay. I'm leaving. So when you complete, you just close the presentation. Good luck, and we're going. We'll enjoy your presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Nico. Yeah, thank you very much again for the opportunity to speak. Yeah, my name is Oliver. I'm from Fairmas. We are a company, focused on hospitality solution. Just some short information about me. I'm Director of Business Development with Fairmas. I was in hospitality industry for 15 years and then left hospitality industry and joined Fairmas as a software company. I'm still happy to have contact to a lot of hotel people, because in my position, I'm really in contact with a lot of hoteliers on a daily basis. Fairmas, we as a company are specialists for hotel financial planning, controlling and reporting solutions. We have more than 4,000 hotels and 11,000 users worldwide using our software. And most of our employees also have hotel background, just as myself. And that's why we consider ourselves, or we have like the tagline, for hoteliers from hoteliers. Something else about me I want to like you to know is that I like to drink beer. And if I have a monthly income of, let's say, 3,000 euros, that would mean that I can afford to buy a lot of beer. So I could be very happy about that. But then let's have a look at my reality. In my reality, I have an apartment to pay for. I have a car. I have children. And I have a dog. So in the end of the day, I cannot afford that amount of beer. It's more like this. And this picture makes one thing very, very obvious. Revenue is not profit. Yeah. But we are in the business world in order to do or to make a profit. Profit is what it's all about in the end. So this is a short introduction about what I want to talk to you today. So we are talking about the topics: how to measure success, financial management, what does it take for a mindset to do that, some information about budgets, forecasts, and other scenarios, and of course some tips and best practices, how to be smart, how to save time when doing hotel financial planning. How to measure success. So as we took a look at my personal reality, where I had a car, where I had an apartment, where I had a dog and children, same kind of thing happens when we look at hotel business and hotel reality, right? So let's dive into that topic. If we take a look at the hotel business, of course, we have a lot of beautiful revenue. We have rooms revenue, and depending on the hotel, there might also be food and beverage revenue and other revenue. That's great. But then reality comes in, and of course, we have some expenses. It starts with the so-called operating costs. This means cost of food, cost of beverages, cost for salary and wages, and for other expenses. They have to be deducted from our revenues in order to estimate or to calculate our profit. But this will bring us to the operating income. Yeah. But that's not it. Unfortunately, there are more costs in hotel business because we have costs for sales and marketing, we have costs for IT, we have costs for repair and maintenance, administration, utilities, and so on and so forth. So we have to take these into consideration as well. And this will bring us to our operating profit. Great, there's profit in this world already, so that's very good, profit, right? But however, there is still more to come because there might be some other costs, some other expenses, some expenses in regards to rent, management fees, insurances, interest, etc., etc. In the end of the day, this will bring us to the net operating profit, and that's really the bottom line profit that our hotel can do. So we see revenue is great, but there are some factors that get us eventually to our profit. Maybe some of you have already heard of the term of USALI. Let me explain. USALI means Uniform System of Accounts for the Lodging Industry. What does it mean? Well, USALI means exactly what we just discovered. It is a worldwide standard, and that's why I'm talking about USALI so much today. USALI is a worldwide standard which is telling me how to measure my profit and so how to measure my success. We see more and more globally that banks and investors are requiring a USALI reporting from hotel operators because those international investors, banks, they want to see how their investments, how successful they are. And this means that they want to have a comparable standard that they can use for that. So therefore, we see that more and more banks and investors are requiring USALI kind of reporting from hoteliers. Yeah, what about to know about USALI? It's not very complicated. It's a chart of account for the hospitality industry. It is based on cost centers and department, and this is very important. I can see the total hotel result, but I can also see what is the departmental profit and loss. So, for instance, if I'm now a hotel coming out of Corona crisis, yeah, I think about reopening, then I need to understand that I have to think out of the box, right? Because we are in crisis times, so I have to think maybe differently than I did before. So what I could think is it really reasonable to open the hotel and my bar as well? Or is it maybe better if I just open my hotel, maybe open the restaurant, maybe not open the restaurant, but maybe open the bar or not open the bar so that I have guests in beds, but maybe it is not reasonable for me to open my bar already now because of regulations that there might be and so on and so forth. So how can I see, how can I measure what it does to my profit if I keep the bar closed for a time? Or what it does to my revenue if my bar is still closed for a longer period. If I'm not using a cost center or department-based chart of account, I cannot tell because then I will always just see the total hotel result. But if I want to understand what is if a part of this hotel is not performing as it should be, or if I maybe close down the bar for some more weeks in order to save expenses and maybe I do not lose so much revenue so that it's in the end of the day better for me to close the bar for some time, I can just understand it and just see that if I'm using a chart of account which provides the possibility to show me departmental results. And so that is what USALI can do. Yeah, in the end of the day, USALI is a worldwide standard that defines how the profit and loss statement for a hotel can look like or should look like. Profit and loss statement, or P&L, is a term that maybe some of you have already heard. I want to show you a hotel P&L. So what you see now on your screen is a typical hotel P&L. And now you could think, what? Oliver, are you kidding me? this is too complicated. I don't understand it. It's too many figures and too many lines. What is this all about? So in the end of the day, it's not as confusing as it now seems on the first glance. Yeah, let me explain a little bit about what you see right now. If you have a profit and loss statement for the hotel business, you can divide it into 3 areas. First is operated departments, second is undistributed departments, and the third one is non-operating. Let's have a look at those 3 sections because they are not so complicated and not confusing at all. Let's have a look at section number 1, operated departments P&L. What is it about? What we do here is that we take the departments that have revenue and we deduct the direct expenses from that revenue. So for example, we have rooms revenue, and what we do is we deduct the direct expenses in the rooms area from that revenue to understand how profitable is our rooms department. Same applies with food and beverage. We take our food and beverage revenues and then we deduct the expenses in that area. So cost of food, salary and wages in regards to food and beverage. And then we understand how profitable is our food and beverage area. The same applies, of course, to other operated departments as spa or garage parking and stuff like that. In the end of the day, this will lead us to the so-called gross operating income. I mentioned that word before, GOI. This is one of the most important KPIs in hospitality financial management. Let's have a look at the second area of our P&L. The second area covers all the costs that I have operationally, but which I cannot link directly to a revenue. So for instance, admin in general, or IT, or sales and marketing, or repair and maintenance. All of this is costing me money, but this money is not directly linked to a revenue which it creates. So therefore, all of the revenue, all of the costs that I have that cannot be linked directly to revenue are in that area, which is called undistributed departments. Yeah. And if I take into consideration the GOI, which we have in area 1 as the KPI, and now we have this area here, it will bring us to the GOP, gross operating profit. I think this is the most important KPI in hospitality financial management. Then, of course, we have some other things to consider, like rent, management fees, insurance, etc., etc. I don't want to go into detail here so much because usually this is nothing which you as a hotel manager have an influence on. So this is something, if we take this into consideration as well, will lead us to the net income or net operating profit. So if we now go back to our P&L and have a look at it, it's not so complicated anymore because the first area is dealing with the so-called GOI, gross operating income. Second area is dealing with the GOP. So this is the operational profit, meaning revenues minus operational costs. That is bottom line operationally. And then we have the NOP area on the bottom. We at Fairmas are helping you with topics like the P&L, usury reporting, and overall hospitality financial planning. For instance, our software can translate a non-usury accounting system into a usury reporting. If you have an accounting system or an ERP which is not using usury as an accounting standard, I would say that's the same with 90% of our clients. So 90% of our clients have an accounting system not capable of using usury. However, within our software, there's a mapping tool which allows to translate the chart of account from the accounting system or your local ERP into the usury reporting, which will take place in our software. Yeah, we provide software from hoteliers for hoteliers. So we are hotel specialists. And as I already mentioned, most of our employees have hotel backgrounds, so they understand the needs of hoteliers. Our customers are really widespread, so we have more than 4,000 customers, more than 11,000 users worldwide. And in the end of the day, it's really from independent single property hotels, from operating companies to chains, brands, and owners, investors. So we provide solutions for everybody. Yeah, our topic today is hotel financial planning. there are some advices that I can give you that we see, best practices that we see from our customers. All of this is based around profit maximization and also, yeah, some ideas that we want to share in regards to the experience that we and our customers make with our software. In the end of the day, financial management in hospitality business and also outside of hospitality business always starts with a mindset. And from my personal experience in hospitality business since 15 years, I think that there are two types of hotel managers. So let's meet them. As you might see already from the pictures right now, that there is a certain mindset attached to those hotel managers here. So let's go into detail of those pictures. Let's start with Joe. Joe is a very passive manager. He manages by what we call bank account. This means if he has a successful month in his hotel, he can just tell when the month is over, because then after the month is over, he looks on his bank account and he can see if there is money on his bank account, then it was a successful month. If there's no money on the bank account, then it was not so successful. However, since he can just tell afterwards, he's not in a position to be proactively, he cannot direct his hotel's fate. And also, of course, there might be some potential losses that could have been prevented if he would have been more active. Let's look at the other example. This is Anna. Anna manages very proactively. She tries to foresee what the future will bring and then tries to adjust her operations and strategies accordingly. And the result, Anna is in a position where she can maximize the profit of her hotel. So if you want to be like Joe, the next minutes might be a little bit boring for you. If you want to be a little bit more like Anna, it could be interesting. So let's have a look. How does Anna do this? How does Anna look into the future? What does she do here exactly? First of all, it starts with a plan. So if you want to look into the future, you need to plan ahead, you need a plan. And so this is a saying, he who fails to plan is planning to fail. It's quite famous. So it also applies to the hospitality industry, meaning if you don't have a plan, you're doomed to failure. So in regards to hospitality planning, what is the plan that most of us know? It's the budget. Usually hotel planning starts with a budget. In most cases, a budget is required by the owners, by banks, by investors. So for a lot of our hotel clients, there is no way around, they have to do a budget. Yeah. However, what I experienced myself in my 15 years in hospitality and what I always experience now with our clients is that a budget is an idea that you had last year. So all my life I had budgets in hospitality business, and all of my life already in February, the budget was obsolete because things had changed. And this is not only now in Corona crisis, because we see that all budgets that our clients made for the year 2020, all of them are obsolete because nobody could have foreseen the Corona crisis in the budget, right? You cannot do that if you are not a magician. So therefore, the budget planning is important because it's required from banks and investors and so on. But in the end of the day, it's just part of the success story. Yeah? Because you need a budget, but what you also would need is a so-called forecast. If budget is kind of the dream, what I want to reach, the forecast shows the reality. So let me explain, how does budgeting and forecasting work? If I have a budget, it usually consists of planning data. So here on my screen, you see 12 months, all of them are orange, meaning all of them is forward planning. Most of our clients are using a business, a calendar year as a business year. So usually in autumn of a year, or maybe, yeah, usually in autumn, they start thinking about the budget for next year and they plan the budget for next year. There might be different versions because they have a budget, then they, yeah, somebody is reviewing it, maybe the owner, sending it back and say, oh, we need some adjustments. You have a second version of the budget. But in the end of the year, you will have a budget usually, which is finalized and settled before the year starts. So most of our clients in December have a full finalized budget for the upcoming next year. And this budget is frozen. You will not change it anymore because this is the goal for your current year, for what you want to achieve in that year. But then what you can do as well is, well, what you need to do in order to have a correct planning is to think about a forecast. So how does it work? Quite easy. When the budget is finalized for the next year, then you take the budget and copy it into the forecast. The budget is frozen, you cannot change it anymore. However, the forecast now can be adjusted. Yeah, let me show you how this works. One thing is that you will have actual figures in your forecast for past periods. So on my screen right now, you see the months January, February, March, April, and May. They are past, they are history. And so we are here looking already on actual data. So on data coming from the PMS, coming from the accounting system and showing me what really happened in those months. Yeah. And when I look at the total year on the right-hand side, of course, this is calculated already for my total year result. Yeah. And then also what I can do in the forecast is I can adjust my planning values. So remember, we copied our budget into the forecast. If we don't change the forward-looking planning, I will still have budget figures in that for those months. However, what I can do in a forecast and what is best practice also is that I take a look maybe at the next 2 or 3 months in front of me and I adjust my planning if it is required. And usually it is required because the budget plan that I did 6 months ago is already obsolete. And we see that, of course, already now in Corona crisis as well. Yeah. So most of our clients, they usually did a monthly forecast. So once in a month, they looked at the next 3 months and adjusted the planning here and overwrote their budget planning with what they think now is realistically in the forecast. But what we see now due to Corona is again a little bit change. We see that people or that our clients are not looking so much into the future. They just maybe try to predict what is really going on in the next 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. And then they do it not just once a month, they do it once a week. And if you have a smart and clever system, it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. But let me talk about this a little bit later. So as you see right now here, this clearly defines the difference between a budget and a forecast. The budget is planning data all over the place. It is frozen. We cannot change it anymore. If we use a forecast, it starts with the copy of the budget, but then the forecast is adjusted in 2 ways. One is I will import actual data from the accounting system, ERP, PMS, and for forward-looking planning, I can still adjust my budget planning here. Yeah, what you can also say is if you are like Joe, you will always just live in the past. You will just take care about the actual data, what really happened. If you are like Anna, you will always look forward and try to predict what the future will bring. And this is not as hard as it might seem. I will tell you a little bit how this can work. Another example why it is very important to do a forecast. In this example here, I have a budget, and in my budget it says that I think I will have an income of 1 million euros. I will have costs of 800,000 euros. So in the end, I think I can hire a new quality manager because I want to have one. If I now would do a forecast, which shows me reality, I can see that maybe my income is not as good as I thought it would be in doing the budget. I see that my costs have not decreased so much as I expected it to be. So in the end of the day, if you know that 800,000 euros income and 750,000 euros cost prediction, would you hire a new quality manager knowing that? Let's have a look at another example. Budget is the same, 1 million income, costs of 800,000 euro. I think I can hire a new quality manager. Now let's do a forecast. And what is if the reality is better than predicted in the budget? Yeah, maybe my income is higher and my costs have not increased so much. Then of course I can hire a new quality manager, but I can maybe also add a marketing campaign, yeah, which I did not have in budget before. So this means it's very important also to do a forecast to understand what reality will bring to me. It's like a budget could be all blue skies but forecast might predict the thunderstorm coming my way. And we've not only seen this in Corona, we've seen this also the years before. It is very important not only to do a prediction once a year, but to do a prediction more often to see what the future will bring. Life is dynamic, especially in hospitality world, where sudden changes are quite normal. Yeah, so we learned about budget, we learned about forecast, and we learned about actual. So these are data, these are things that I need to consider. But how can I do this? What is a good way of doing this? And what will it bring me? In order to keep track of all of this data, I need to use some kind of scenarios. Yeah. So I want to compare my results easily. I want to understand what was the budget for a certain month, what is the actual result for that month, what is the prediction for forecast for the next month. So I want something where I can compare those data easily. And what I can use, of course, is what we've just seen, a budget and a forecast. So in this example, again, I have a budget, then I have a forecast for the current year. The forecast is already adjusted. It includes actual values for the past periods. It includes adjusted planning figures for the future. So very great. But then maybe I want to have a look on my last forecast as well. Maybe I want to consider last year's data as well. And maybe I want also to consider what if data. I think the last forecast, what it is quite easy to understand. That's the forecast that I did last week or last month. Sometimes it's important for me to take this into consideration as well, to understand, what was I thinking last week or what was I thinking last month? Last year's data, of course, is also quite obvious. This is what I have achieved last year. Also, sometimes interesting to see how is my future planning this year compared to the same month last year result. And what is the what if scenario? What if scenario is just a way of playing around with the figures. We have seen this a lot now in Corona times. If you have a hotel and you are not sure when you want to reopen or when you are allowed to reopen, or if you can reopen, you are not sure what is the maximum capacity that you are allowed to have in your hotel. If all of this is uncertain, you usually do not just need a forecast prediction, you also want to have a what if scenario. And this can be very easy because, for instance, in our software, what you can do if you have a forecast, by the click on a button, you can copy your forecast into a what if scenario. And in this what if scenario, you might just, again, by the click on a button, prolong your closing time for another week or for another month. Or, and the other way around, you can open earlier. Yeah, also very easy to handle. And in the end of the day, it provides some alternative scenarios. And we see that not only for hoteliers, also for banks and investors. Right now in Corona, quite often they require such alternative planning scenarios. They want to know from the hotelier, okay, what if the hotel cannot open next week? What if it still is closed? Or what if it can just have a capacity of maybe 50% occupancy, if more is not allowed? How would this reflect on the hotel's profit? If you use a what if scenario, this could be very easy to understand because you just copy your current planning into the what if and play around with the figures. In the end of the day, you want to have a software that provides all that. And if you have a look at my screen right now, this is just a screenshot from it's just an example from our software where you have your P&L, profit and loss statement, and where you have scenarios next to each other, like my forecast, my latest forecast, my budget, and the values from last year. So this is very clean, very easy to understand. As I mentioned, you can copy the data from one into the other scenario. So this is very, easy to use. I will show you some more examples about our software a little bit later. And let's switch to additional tips and other best practices that we can provide to you and that we learned throughout the last years and also especially throughout the last weeks when we think about the Corona crisis. One very important thing that we want to recommend is to track your daily pickup. The pickup is the heartbeat of the hotel business and of your hotel. And tracking, understanding, and analyzing the pickup data is really one of the most basic requirements for any forward-looking planning and hospitality business. If you don't have your pickup data at hand, it might be very, very hard to plan ahead. So how should the pickup be tracked? Of course, it should be tracked daily, if possible, by market segment. This will understand you to help understand the demand, to understand booking patterns. It will help you to do a pace analysis. It will help you to analyze what was same day last year. And also it helps you to validate your current forecast and budget planning. How can I achieve this? Of course, I can try to do this manually in Excel, or what I can use is maybe something like this. This is again a screenshot from our solution. This provides an overview about the pickup for 3 of my hotels. It just shows me what business came in yesterday, what is the difference to yesterday, what is my forecast figure, what is my budget figure, what was last year, what was last year same point in time, with a nice graphic on top. So this is something which we think is very important to track your pickup. Also to do maybe some deeper analysis. As you see right here, this is another screenshot showing me a pace analysis so that I can really understand for a certain event, for a certain holiday, for a certain vacation, is business coming in as it should be? Is business coming in as it was last year? This is something which I can see really easy in that graphics here. And so this is something which a pickup tracking could bring to me. Another important best practice, what we see is data integration and the usage of correct and relevant data. So what is relevant? Of course, in hospitality business, you have a lot of data at your hand. Not all of them are easy to gather. Some of them are hard to gather. So in the end of the day, the question is, what should I need? What is the data that is really relevant for me for financial planning? So it's not that complicated. Relevant is, from our understanding, the hindsight. So to look backwards to the past to understand what happened in the past. So for instance, if I'm in Corona lockdown and I want to understand what are my costs if I reopen the hotel again, I can easily find out by looking into my actual data from last month or the same month last year to understand, okay, what is my fixed cost, what is my variable costs, and also what are the other costs connected to that. So the hindsight is very important to understand what was in the past. What I always should do is, of course, look ahead. So I need to look at my on the books data, and I need to track the pickup or to see the pickup to understand how is the business coming in. And also I need to do a side glance and to have a look at my competitors so that I can understand when are they reopening maybe and now in crisis, or if they are open, what is the rate that they take for a certain day, for a certain period of time, so that I can have an idea on how to position myself in the market. Very important. So what data sources can we use for that, or should we use for that? For the hindsight, it's very important to use the accounting system or ERP because it provides the actual data. For the forward-looking, I use my PMS to understand what is on the books. If I have a pickup tracking tool, of course, I can use a pickup tracking tool to track the pickup. If I don't have a tool for that, then I might need to use, I don't know, Excel maybe. And of course, for the competitor view, I can have a look, or I can use rate shopping tools and benchmarking tools to understand what is my position in the market versus my competitors versus my comp set. Yeah, and if you ask yourself, how could look this in a software? Well, that's another screenshot from our software. This is something which provides me on one glance, is there an event going on? What is my on the book status on a certain day? What is the pickup since a certain day? It has a nice graphic in the middle so I can understand what is my on the books occupancy, what is my ADR development, and you see budget forecast data on that screen. And you see also rate shopping data from, in this case, from one of our partners, OTA Insight, to understand really what is the positioning of my rate that I am offering on the public channels compared to the rate of my competitors. And if I want to have all of this in a nice overview, in a nice screen, here it is. Another best practice is something I already talked about a little. This is the story of Anna and Joe, right? Proactive management versus administration. We really want to encourage you to try to manage the future and to focus on action. For instance, if you predict a lack of demand in some weeks from now, you not should only, of course, you need to boost sales. That's for sure. If there's a lack of demand, of course, you need to somehow fill the gap. But you should also have a look at your expenses and see if maybe you can cut your expenses. Maybe you can save some money already now for the future by sending people into vacation or holiday. Or do I need to replace all open positions right now? Or maybe is it okay because I have a lack of demand that I will not have all my positions filled? All of these questions should be answered, and it's not only about analyzing the data. If I have analyzed the data, I should always take action on that. So in the end of the day, it's really a simple financial management cycle. The first part here is the plan. I don't need to be too detailed. I just want to have an overview of what will go on. So if I have a budget, I can take it from there and see, okay, in the budget prediction was that. Is this the real, or do I have maybe a lower demand or maybe a higher demand? Or my rates have been maybe going up or going down? All of this, yeah, is part of my plan. So planning is the first stage. Second stage is to take action according to the plan. So if I see that there is a lack of demand, I have to act accordingly. As I mentioned, not only to boost sales in that period, but also see how can I save some money in that time period. And then, of course, I need to measure the outcome of my action. I have to understand if that what I planned and what I did in actions, was it successful? If yes, great. If not, okay, why not? So then I can adjust my plan again. So as I mentioned, it's a cycle. It never ends. And regardless if we have normal times or if we are recovering from a crisis, as I already mentioned, some of our clients usually used to plan once a month for the next 3 months. Now in Corona, they switched. They plan once a week, but just looking maybe for the next 4, 5, 6 weeks. Yeah, because they cannot see more far in the future because they don't know what regulations will be from the government and so on. So, but even if you do this more often, it doesn't mean that it is more effort to do. Yeah, with the best practices that I already showed you and the other ones I will show you right now, it can become quite clear that financial planning is not so much of an effort and it does not take so much time. So coming to the next best practice, and this is collaboration. We strongly encourage collaboration within the hospitality business, meaning within my hotel organization. In an ideal world, I have a yin and yang of the revenue management and the finance perspective. But in an ideal world, not just of them, in an ideal world, all of my department heads are kind of contributing to the planning result and also do the analysis for the past results. If I involve my department heads and if I make some of my financial figures available to them, I can also assign responsibility to those people. So just for instance, if I have a large hotel with a lot of rooms, with a lot of operations, yeah, it might be worth taking my housekeeping manager into responsibility for his or her own figures. But that, of course, means that I have to make them understand what these figures mean. So I have to train those persons. But in the end of the day, what it brings to me is that those people will have a deeper understanding of their departments than I have as the hotel manager. And so if I take them into the team and if I hear on what they have to say, I can learn a lot about their departments, and they are the people who know best how to save money and how to be more profitable. So I have to listen to them. And also I have to make the figures of their department available to Also very important is the concept of every line needs an owner. What does this mean? This means that we have oftentimes in the accounting system an account line item called other operational costs. It's just an example, right? But what does other operational costs mean? If I'm in the rooms department and I have an account which is called other operational costs or miscellaneous costs, I have to know somebody in my team who can tell me what is in that account, what expenses are in that account. Because especially right now in the crisis time, I need to save money, obviously. And if I don't know what is other operational costs, does it mean laundry? Does it mean guest amenities? Does it mean decoration? If I don't know that, I cannot know how much money I can save in that account. So therefore, it's very important that if it's not clear what is part of one account, I need to know which of my team members knows that and can give me detailed answer on the question, what is in that account. Another best practice that we see is simplification. And this is very, very important. If we connect to new clients, we sometimes, of course, see what's in their accounting system, and we sometimes have a reality where they have more than 1,000 accounts in their accounting system. And this is, of course, not feasible for a financial planning and for a financial controlling. So what you are encouraged to do is to simplify your accounts. In my example here, what you see now is that we have in the accounting system 3 accounts, one for China, one for glass, and one for silver. And what we could do is we can simplify this by putting all of this in one account, which is China, glass, silver. Yeah, it simplifies my reporting, it simplifies my planning, and it provides a clearer overview, and it helps also my department heads to have a better overview and understanding about the figures. Another very important thing, a very important concept is management by KPIs. What is a KPI? KPI means key performance indicator. And so these are values that measure and demonstrate how effectively a company or a hotel achieves its business objectives. So in the end of the day, a KPI is helping me to understand how successful I am. For instance, RevPAR, this is a KPI in hospitality, but there are some more, and I want to talk about this a little more. You can use a KPI for planning very easily, and it simplifies your planning process a lot. And when you do that, you take a KPI and use it for planning. You can call this also a driver. You will learn right now why it's called driver. We can just encourage you to utilize drivers for planning because this can automate your planning process and save a lot of time. Let me explain you what I mean. In hospitality, we have a lot of variable costs and variable revenues. If I can link them, then I can save a lot of time when doing an updated financial planning. So this means if I have a full service hotel and I have a smart link between my accounts and my dependencies, it will just take me maybe 2 hours for a monthly forecast. I will show you an example how this can work. So on my screen right now, we have the example of 2 accounts. One account is rooms revenue. So how much rooms revenue will I have in the future? Or did I have maybe? The other one is commission costs. And you see here, my rooms revenue is 100,000 euro. My commission cost is 10,000 euro. And you clearly see that the connection between those both accounts is 10%. So if now my rooms revenue is increasing to 120,000 euro, and I have the connection, the 10% as a driver in place, then I can automatically update my commission cost to 12,000 euro without manually recalculating my commission cost, just by using the 10% as a flexible driver. And now think yourself what else you can connect to rooms revenue via an automatic driver. Credit card fees, for instance, or what else applies to your property. Let me explain another example. Let's start with number of rooms. The number of rooms that I will sell in a certain time, in a certain month in the future. And now I want to know how many guests will I have in house. And of course, I can have a connection here. Yeah. And for our example now, it's 1.3. This means for each room that I sell, I will have 1.3 guests in house. Of course, this number is flexible. However, the connection is given. Now I want to understand how many guests will I have for breakfast. And of course, this depends very much on the hotel that I'm running. However, usually there is some experience and I can have a percentage value based on the number of guests in house. So this means a certain percentage of my number of my guests in house will come to breakfast. And so they are my covers for breakfast. And now what I can do is I can connect my breakfast guests, my breakfast covers with the revenue that I will have for breakfast by just entering my average breakfast cover. So in my example here, it's €9.50. And if I have a revenue, I can link that to the cost of food. And in my example, I will give it here a 30% cost of food percentage. So in the end of the day, this example shows me that guests in house, covers breakfast, breakfast revenue, and cost of food, all of this can be automatically linked to the number of rooms, right? Because if I have set my drivers, then if I increase the number of rooms in my forecast, all the other values automatically increase as well as per driver definition. Or the other way around, if I will decrease my number of rooms that I predict in my forecast, all of the other accounts will decrease as well. Yeah. And so this is really a simple concept, I would call it. However, it can really make my life easier when it comes to planning, and also if it comes to controlling and to understand if I matched certain drivers and KPIs in the past. And now think about a situation, what else you can connect to the number of rooms. For instance, costs for room cleaning, laundry costs, or guest supplies. Yeah, all of this can be connected to number of rooms, for example. And of course, this is different within each of the hotels, and also the numbers that I presented here as driver numbers, they are different within each hotel. They're also different from month to month. However, if I have the connection here, I can really speed up my planning process. Now you might ask yourself, okay, how can I realize all of this, what was shown and what was explained already? Yeah, well, you might need some kind of system. If you want to do all of this manually and you want to do all of this in Excel, I'm not sure if this will work. Without digitalization, it might be very hard to achieve all of this. And of course, if you yourself are a very professional Excel user, or if you have a professional Excel user in your team, you can try to do it in Excel. Excel is quite powerful. However, what we also understand is that the picture I'm showing you right now is really taken out of the real life and hospitality business. Because if you use Excel for budget planning, for forecast planning, and so on and so forth, there are some advantages in Excel, but there also are some disadvantages. Usually, quite often, Excel leads to a lot of confusion. Because in Excel, you have usually various data sources. And if you want to have a planning, as we showed earlier, and you want to see what is my on the books data, what is the competitor rate, what is my past data, what is same time and point last year, all of this together in one Excel sheet takes you ages to get it in. Then the data quality in Excel is usually also questionable, because most of the time it depends on copy and paste, and also on formulas which are in Excel. So if there is a certain formula, great. But if you link a formula with a formula in another sheet, and then you open up another sheet which is linked to the first sheet, and so on and so forth, it will happen that one of the formula is broken, you don't find it, and in the end of the day, you will search for the error, you will search for the lost formula a long time. So this will make all of your processes not very efficient. And also, it's hard to work together with an Excel sheet, right? So if you want to have your revenue team contributing to your planning, if you want to have your finance team or maybe your department heads as well contributing, you cannot work in the same time in the same Excel file. It's very hard. So therefore, the collaboration is not very easy with Excel. And now think about what happens if there is a figure that you don't have in your standard Excel reporting, but you want to know it. Then usually what happens is that you create another Excel sheet based on the already existing Excel sheets, taking out data of that and making everything even more confusing. So we encourage to have a look around and to see if there is maybe not a software solution that can solve all of this problem. And surprisingly, there is a solution like this, for instance, ours. So just to name the points here, our solution provides direct data import from PMS, from accounting system, and from others via interfaces. Very important, within our solution, the hotelier can define his or her standards for planning and for reporting. Meaning, in our solution, the reporting can be as per USALI, whilst it is not as per USALI in the accounting system. And usually, there's not much change needed in the accounting system. Our software can be connected to the accounting system, and there is a mapping functionality translating whatever is in the accounting system to USALI. We provide assisted planning and collaboration functionalities, drivers, you just learned about that. Comment functionalities are also very important. If there is a certain value in the future and you don't know why did I plan this in my budget, or why did I plan this in my forecast, if you can comment on that, or if the person who's planning that can comment on that, it helps a lot. And also our software provides automatic reporting, automatic consolidation, so you can schedule reports and say, okay, I want this report in my inbox on a daily basis, or I want that report on a monthly basis, or please send this report once a month to my bank, or whatever. All of this can be set up. So this is another preview on our solution. Let me quickly speak about some of our clients. As I already mentioned, our customers are very diverse. So it starts with IHG, Intercontinental Hotels Group. This is our single largest clients. All of the managed and owned properties worldwide from IHG are using our software for forecasting and budgeting. Accor is using it in the German-speaking countries, but there are also different owner-operators that you see, just examples here on my screen. Of course, these are not all of our clients, but really the variety is quite huge. It is from IHG over owner-operators for different kind of portfolios. Investors are using the software. Very luxury hotels are using the software, as the Ritz in Paris. And also the smallest individual hotel using our software is on the right bottom corner, the Berg Hotel Randolins in Switzerland with 20 rooms. And everything between a 22-room hotel and IHG with more than 850 hotels can be managed with the software as ours. It just depends on how the software is set up, and also, of course, which of the modules you want to utilize. System integration, I already mentioned that as well. It's very important for us to use data from already existing systems. These are just examples, so we can utilize data from PMS, from accounting system, ERPs, and also from third-party systems, from partners like Ideas or Duetto, or HQ Plus, or OTA Insight, etc., and etc. Just examples here at that screen. So this really helps the data flow, and this really helps the hotelier to understand on one screen to see what is the relevant data for the scenario I'm planning right now, and not using different screens and different Excel sheets to use all of the data from different sources. Our software is based on the data sources I just explained to you. So accounting system could be a data source, PMS could be a data source, maybe others as well, like revenue management system as Ideas. And our solution, our main solution, is called Fair Planner. And Fair Planner allows to do a monthly planning, maybe also a daily planning, depending on the setup, for all revenues, for all costs per department, based, if you want to, on a USALI chart of accounts. Of course, it can also utilize the chart of account that you use already in your accounting system. But as I already mentioned, we see that with a lot of our clients that they like to have a USALI reporting. And so a planner can translate the accounting system reporting into a Usari reporting. We have some additional modules available. One is for payroll planning, planning of payroll costs. The other one is a pickup tracking tool, really independently easy, showing you what is pickup, what is the business coming in, what is it versus last year, same point in time, what is this versus budget, what do I need to reach my forecast goals. All of this is available in the pickup tracking. And in the end of the day, if you have more than one hotel, Fairchain is our consolidation solution for collecting the data together, showing you what is the performance of the overall portfolio and of the overall cluster. So you can say, give me all of my hotels in Athens, give me all of my hotels all over Greece. If you have hotels in other countries as well, you can do different clusters. All of this is available in Fairchain. So to summarize, software is ours, tailor-made for the hospitality industry. It is quite easy to integrate in your existing IT structure. It provides a central data source. Historical data is available, which I think is quite important. It provides a standardized reporting according to the specifications that a hotel has. Usually this is per Usari, but it could be another standard. It provides a platform for data consolidation and also for collaboration. And in the end of the day, it provides an efficient and transparent reporting. So if you would use a tool as ours, you will find enough time to have a beer and to don't waste hours and hours for financial planning, because the tool helps you to save a lot of time. This was the end of my session for right now. So I'm open to see or for your questions and answers that might come in right now. So please, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know about them right now. So, okay, I will give it another minute. So in case that there are some questions, please feel free. Yeah, there's one question here in the Q&A. How many years of historical data are required for an effective budget and forecast? So this is really depending on the business, and it is depending on the current year. So what we see right now in Corona is that, of course, historical data does not help me at all. Yeah, I just need to understand what are my costs, and to see what are my costs, I just can look into a month pre-Corona. I don't have to necessarily see the full last year. If we talk about normal times, I would say that 2 years of actual data are very helpful to do a budget and a forecast, so that I can use this data as a kind of prediction or helping me to predict the future. Next question here, is it compatible with Opera PMS, and can it also be integrated with company's accounting system? Yeah, so we have a connection to Opera PMS. And also the accounting systems, we are very flexible in regards to that. So I'm quite sure that we have the connection to those systems. Okay, so let me share you once again. some other questions. Yeah, next question is here. Could it be also connected with a channel manager? I wouldn't say no. However, as per current experience, we are connecting to the PMS as a better source. So as of now, we have connections to, I think, about 20 different PMSs. And channel manager, we never use this as a source because we like to see the on the books data coming from the original source, which usually is the PMS. Okay, as it seems there are no more questions. So yeah, in case that you are interested in learning more about our solutions, I will show you my contact details and maybe wait for another question coming up. So you are very invited to contact me via telephone or via email, or you can just have a look at our website, which is fairmas.com. It provides an overview about all of the solutions that we offer. However, feel free to drop me an email. There's another question coming up about pricing policy. Yeah, so happy to talk about that. Pricing policy is that we have a yearly license fee, which is based on the number of rooms of the hotel. Yeah. So as I explained and as I show you on the screen, we have different kind of modules, and it depends on which module you want to utilize, and it depends also on the size of the hotel in regards to number of rooms, how cost expensive this is. Just to give you an example, if you have a hotel of 100 rooms, the yearly fee for our pickup tracking tool is something about 650 to 680 euros. Yeah, not really sure right now, but that's the range we're talking about for this tool. Yeah, and there are different, of course, if different sizes of hotels, and for the other tools, the other modules, there is a different pricing. What we need to calculate that is, of course, the number of rooms that the hotel has. The number of users for our pricing is unlimited, because as I mentioned, we encourage the hotels to utilize as many users as they want to have in the system. So therefore, it's not getting more expensive if you have more users. The pricing is really based on the number of rooms that a hotel has. And it's a yearly subscription fee or a yearly license fee that we will use there. Okay. Checking on further questions. Okay. As it seems, no more questions there. So again, let me mention my contact details. It's oliver.rabe@fairmas.com, or our website is fairmas.com. So if you have any questions about the solutions, or if you want to have a little bit better understanding about it, if you want to have a live demo, I'm very happy to organize a demo with you to show you how the software works, how it could be integrated with your PMS or with your accounting system. And so all of this we can, of course, arrange. So, oh yeah, here are my contact details again. So yeah, that's my telephone number and here my email address. But again, you can always just look it up on our website, fairmas.com. And yeah, for right now, I want to thank you for the time and for the possibility to show you and to explain you a little bit more about hotel financial planning. Would be great if some of you have interested, want to see more or learn more about our solutions. I would be happy to show you around, to provide a demo and to talk with you about how we can help your hotel to have a better financial planning and controlling solution. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you very much. I would like to thank you for the time and to wish you a great weekend. Bye-bye.